So just to make sure. Yeah, okay. Uh, all right. Well, this is part two of our little morning thing. Um, Everything seems to be working pretty well. And if you remember, I said that we have the laptop instead of the big desktop or the tower, and the file transfer from one to the other after the recording is done from the laptop to the big PC is fine. It's really lightning fast, of course. Um, okay, hello, welcome. We're going to continue with our little example here. Clearly, the little bit of combat that we've done has been between the skirmisher units, um, and there's going to be obviously more to come. You can see, where's my pointer? You can see right away um, if the players actually, it's interesting because if you don't pay attention, you're going to miss it, right? You won't see it. But if that's a ford and it costs nothing to go across, right? Just like, very low water, not even 6 inches, we'll say, something. It's just wet ground. Um, the Spanish infantry with the cavalry behind it can go through this, go right through this. They're not only that, but they're on a road. They're going to go right through and then stop right here and turn and contact uh, the Roman unit and flank. So it's an interesting truth. Um, of course, I had no idea what I was doing on the Roman side, and even the Carthaginian side. Well, I kind of did on the Carthaginians because the elephants make you pay attention. But the Romans, I just put them out there, and I just moved them forward. And that's why this guy's right there by the road. Normally, I probably would have put him on the road to get ready to go across that ford, right? But as it happens, didn't do that. So what's going to happen here is that the Carthaginians, if they win initiative, and I guess herein lies one of the most important things in playing these games. When you have the initiative, do you keep it? All right? Do you keep the initiative when you have it? A lot of players agree that yes, you do. For how long? Like automatically, right? You just once you get it, you keep it. For how long? What seems to be the going rate, right? 3 turns, 4 turns, right? What makes you not get the initiative? Once you have it, what makes you lose it? There's a couple of parameters you could think of. But if there's nothing that happens to make you lose it, then you should probably just keep it. I mean, history shows that battles went on with one side over the other for almost the entire length of it until, hours later or something like that. Because maybe some cavalry that left the battle comes back, right? As happens so many times, and then the tide turns. Uh, so yeah, that's when you lose initiative. And do you lose initiative all across the board? I mean, the whole thing, the whole battlefield? Or do you lose initiative just in one section? Well, we don't do it that way. We play initiative for the whole battlefield, right? Um, so, just checking. Let's make sure that everything's working. Yes? Okay, good. That no cameras have froze up. Okay, so let's assume that the Carthaginians win it and they're going to go, right? Here they go. They're going to blast right through that skirmish stand and take that guy and flank like that. And then what happens here? Well, first of all, this gets pushed, then this gets pushed away, right? Automatically. And then the other unit comes down 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then 5, like this. I mean, holy smokes, right? That's quite an assault. And then here comes the cavalry, but the cavalry's not on the road. Still, they're going to move 5 or 6, right? 5, light cavalry. They're not light cavalry. They're actually medium cavalry. They're almost similar to the Roman. No, they're not. They don't have chainmail. Spanish cavalry are just mounted light infantry. All right, so they're light cavalry. And they're going to go 6, right? They're not on the roads. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. Wait a minute, is that right? Is it 5 or 6? 4 is medium cavalry. No, actually, stop saying that. 4 is normal cavalry. 3 is heavy cavalry. Uh, 5 is light cavalry, so it is 5. All right, so they come out of their little, and they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they end up right there. And of course, this guy gets pushed away like that. And the light cavalry, or this skirmisher cavalry, comes across, pushing these guys back. They have to maintain at least one space. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, and 6. So skirmisher cavalry infiltrates, which is going to push even further. This skirmisher foot has to stay away. Right? The skirmishers cannot be contacted. They have to immediately run. And that's what we're left with. Oh, and here comes the other guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can't do it. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I suppose 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You notice how what I'm doing here is I'm not giving them a TE. I'm just taking off a hex of movement because I'm not going to bother with TE marking. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is interesting, right? Do you think, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe better not, right? Get too crazy. That's okay, because when he comes on, he's going to have issues with his front and flank, and the horses can't get any closer over here. See this? They can't get any closer because the elephants are coming, and here they come, right? 1, 2, 1, 2. And the skirmishers, there's no reason for them to be any further away. They can be closer. So 1, 2 for this phalanx unit. Perhaps the smartest thing to do is not get across that river quite yet. Just maintain that facing. Stay there. Form up that line. And these guys can go in the forest, nothing wrong with that. So 1, 2, 3. They can't go in quite because they don't have the speed, because we are not marking TE. Okay, so there we are with their movements. Okay. Now comes the Russians. Yeah, no, now comes the Romans. Let's take this guy off the stand. Locked. This is going to be 1, 2 here. Remember, we don't face the corners, we face the flats. This guy's locked. Here comes this guy. Now these are Italian allies. He's going to come in and join that melee. He has to stop because of zone of control. Other two guys back here, we can go 1, 2, 3. But with this kind of thing coming up, I don't think we want to do that. We have to pay attention. It's going to take a while for the elephants to move. So we know that. So let's form our line up. We're going to form a secondary line, and in case something goes wrong here, we're actually going to have to spend one of our units as a reserve, because that skirmisher cavalry is actually there. So we're going to place it like that. That is an issue, because that skirmisher cavalry is going to be able to move right through here. There's no zone of control there. So make a secondary line. Let's be tighter about it. What do we want to do with the cavalry? I don't know. You know what? The wall, they can't get any closer now, especially 1, 2, 3, 4. They have to be put back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got to be no closer than 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're actually gonna be pushed back probably like this to be more cohesive about it. Okay, so that's interesting. We immediately got some pretty big activity going on with very little impact to the Carthaginians, and they still have their whole left flank with the elephants. So that's very interesting. Just making sure everything's working. Yeah. So you can see the skirmisher, mounted skirmisher, the Numidian, can't throw their javelins into the melee, so they're going to have to pick these skirmisher units. So it's basically these guys are going to pick on he. So yeah, we got quite a bit. These two mounted skirmishers are being hit by a lot of other skirmishers. Yeah, yeah, something to consider. They're probably going to get pretty badly hurt, if not eliminated. So this cavalry is out of combat. It's not in combat. It's just part of the column, if you will. Next turn, they're going to be able to move. This is going to be a flank. This is a forward or a frontal arc. This is a flank. Nothing's happening here, but except we do have to pay attention to pre-melee missiles, which actually happens here too, by the way, because they have pylum. So they're going to throw their pylum. The opponents don't have pylum. Now, here's the interesting thing. In the sculpture of these hat infantry, they are shown with the spears as if they're throwing them. They would never do that. That is an incorrect historical sculpting. These are spearmen. You don't throw a spear. You throw javelins. Your spear is your main weapon. You're not gonna, and then your sword is your secondary weapon. Okay, so throwing the spear seems to be an unlikely thing. At least that's what I understand. Okay, just we'll say that it's not a javelin. It's not a very thin piece of hardened wood or something like that with a metal tip. It's not. So even though all these sculpts, even in the Africans that are from hat industry, they show them over their head throwing these spears, but the truth is that they're not really throwing them. They're positioning their spear over the head to get across the opponent's shield. At least that's what we've seen in, well, Rome is the best example, where the shield is like this and the spear is like this, or the spear is down here, or something of that nature. Anyway, so there we are. Do this, double the casualties. No need to die roll it, it's automatic. So it's going to be light to medium is 3 to 4 is a 1 greater in favor of the Romans. So in order to cause casualties, I need to roll, or there is no die roll. A flanking light infantry. Oh, the opponent's value is just 0. Is the opponent's value zeroed out in a flank? Sorry if I forget my own rolls, but I know I said it's double casualties, which is true. but they are light infantry versus normal infantry. So they will need to roll red to cause a casualty. That is to say a red casualty hit. Otherwise it'll be incremental, but it will be double the casualties. So if it's a, yeah. Okay, so they got a red casualty hit. And because it's a flank, it's doubled. So it looks like they routed that unit. Okay, so the unit routes away. 1, 2, 3. And of course the commander's not here. We didn't put it out. The commander's not on the table because we didn't bother putting it out. Roll to see who goes, red or blue. Okay, this guy advances here. And he flanks this unit. Same. So he needs a red to cause a red hit. That's a drunk. So he causes double red hits on that unit. Okay, light infantry versus, yeah. Mediums is 3 to 4. So the mediums are greater by 1. So they'll cause an additional incremental hit. Okay, so if it's not a red, if it's a red, it's a red. Okay, so a red hit there on these guys. And to fight these guys, you're now going to be fighting 2 units. So now you need a CNC to cause a hit. No, so it's incremental. Alright, coming back, they're going to cause 1 additional incremental hit, but we're going to roll blue because they're superior. Okay. They rolled a red, which causes an incremental hit. And then these guys are going to roll to see what they cause. A red, so in this case they roll blue because they're superior. They rolled a red. Okay, so what we were doing there was, because the infantry here is light and the infantry here is medium, so this versus that is a difference of 1 in both cases. So because it's a difference of 1, instead of needing to roll red as if they were light, because light versus light, you need to roll red to cause a casualty hit. But they're medium, so they need to roll blue, which is better and more likely to happen, except in this case, they just didn't get it. So all they did was cause an incremental hit. And that's all there is now. Let's do this. Automatic color. So we need 2 blues, and we got them on that guy. So 2 incremental hits. And that's why we use pink. Okay. Over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looking for automatic, and 1 is blue. Didn't get it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Geez, are they all automatic hits because they're so close? I think they are. Is there any saving? I don't think there is. They're skirmishers. Geez, I think they wiped them out. 1 incremental, 2 incremental, 3 incremental, 4 incremental. hits because they're so close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another guy that's furthest away missed. So 5 incremental hits. So 1, 2, 3 removes it. 1, 2, 3. So 1 is removed. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. They're both removed. Hence the reason you always want to have a lot of those mounted skirmishers. And this is the reason why. That's a lot of dead horses over there. Anyway, so there we are. And oh, was there a pre-melee here? No. They don't have pylon. They have spears. There was no pre-melee here because they were taken in flank. Well, we don't know if when they were contacted in front, if they had thrown. We have to assume they did throw. So we need to actually automatically make an incremental hit on these guys because they did throw their pylon. It's automatic. It looks like that's about it. It does not look good at all for the Romans. They have a routed unit back there. Let's assume the commander's back there and those guys will rally up. So it's interesting. But they don't rally up now. They rally up at the beginning of the next turn. Unless they have any other reason to be impacted by combat. So the end result is that the Romans are going to recover 1 unit. And that's all. But the melee will continue. Okay. So we'll come back for the next turn. It looks like about it.